Day 12, social isolation. If you hear any sounds in the background, that's the tumble dryer, because when socially isolating, especially in wet weather, you have to tumble dry your washing inside. Garden's quite a good distance back, but still trying to think about keeping social distance, even if other people are out maybe hanging their washing. Anyway, day 12, social isolation. Sharon is tidying up a bedroom at the moment. Her mental health is doing okay with this lockdown, but anybody else out there too who suffers from mental health problems, I do sympathise with you. There is this feeling of cabin fever. There is this feeling of being inside so long. It's kind of hard to cope. Personally, I couldn't care less. I'm perfectly happy to stay in the house. Do try to get out and do some exercise, I must admit, but I've kind of cut down on that, probably just because I'm too lazy to go out and exercise, in all honesty. Okay, but besides that, okay, what do I think about things that are going on at the moment? Boris is going to write to all of us. It's going to cost something like £5.8 million. Why is he wasting money that could be used in the NHS to buy ventilators, supply our NHS staff with proper personal protective equipment so that they didn't actually have to face patients infected with the virus and then possibly pass it along and make people they were treating sick? Yeah, why is that? Why is he prepared to spend that money on sending us all a letter that will probably, well, he's including a leaflet with it as well, that will probably just end up in the bin? Why has he even got to send a letter for that matter? Why couldn't he just, okay, if you accept there may be some logic to sending out a leaflet to people, just, because I guess not everyone watches television, not everyone even has contact with the internet, not everyone listens to the radio, not even everyone looks at posters around them. Okay, there could be some logic to saying, all right, send everyone out a leaflet, but why include a letter? It's a personal appeal from the Prime Minister. All right, Boris, but I just would much rather you had spent the money on PPE for our doctors, nurses, frontline staff, ambulance personnel. Another one. The self-testing kits are now being marketed. My feeling is, though, even if I was prepared to pay something like £93 for 3 kits, if it works out I have a marker for the virus, what am I going to do? Well, obviously I want to keep myself inside even more and stay away from other people, and if my wife hadn't been tested for it, well, possibly try to isolate from her, of course, yeah. But in the end, it's going to come down to, when will I even get near a hospital, yeah? At the moment, the policy is still obviously showing symptoms. How short of breath will I have to get? How many applications will have to be made to get through to 111 online? Even if I have the information that I have the virus or have had the virus, other than taking more care to make sure I self-isolate, what more can I do? Even with underlying health conditions, what more can we do? Boris is again trying to look like he's doing something. Well, he is doing something, but obviously just way too late. It's perfectly clear that he had prioritised profit over people. It's also perfectly clear, quite honestly, that the NHS will soon be at a point where it has to make very difficult decisions on who lives and who dies. That's a fact. Yeah. If if you're in a high risk group like I am, my wife is, even my sister-in-law has asthma. What if you have chest diseases, COPD and stuff like that? Unfortunately, the NHS are going to have to prioritise the resources on the basis of who has the best prognosis, on the basis of who's most likely to survive. I get that. I accept it. It may well have been that way anyway, because even if we had all the resources we needed, yeah. But I think I'll kind of leave the vlog there for today. But I will say, obviously, it must be totally apparent to people, if the government are willing to say, okay, a death toll of about 20,000 will be acceptable, don't forget, if they hadn't crushed the NHS, if they hadn't stopped funding it, if they hadn't taken away the nursing bursary for people to train, if they hadn't made doctors redundant, if they hadn't sent people in that profession back because of Brexit, if they actually bothered to fund and maintain and build our NHS rather than cutting it to the bone to say, oh look, it's not working now, is it? So because it's not working, let's sell it to Richard Branson, then it can all be privatised, we can all pay our own little insurance contributions, and it'll be absolutely wonderful, and it will work for everybody, yeah? If they hadn't done that, if they hadn't closed the A&Es, cut back the ambulance service, reduced the number of nurses and doctors, built hospitals instead of bloody penthouses for the rich, yeah? They hadn't done that, less people would die. That's a fact. Sorry if it upsets you, me quoting that, but that is a fact. Quite honestly, I believe when all this is gone, obviously capitalism and the Tories will be back to business as usual. None of these special measures are of course going to last, because they are after all special measures, and it will be back to prioritising the wealthy over the poor, always prioritising the rich to get richer, and treating the rest of us like slaves, servants, disposable. It's been quite clear actually from the government's response to most things how they value human life very, very little. Do you remember when the infamous Ian Duncan Smith made a speech in Parliament, and he spoke of unemployed people as the stock? The stock. He claimed that was a kind of an economic term. The stock. People without a job. People, in fact, were thought of as stock, as animals, as goods to be traded one against the other. See, that absolutely proves they're inhuman, and they really don't care about human life. Yeah, they care about profit and the fact that they'll be making that profit for themselves and for people that they know. Yeah. Well, folks, good luck. Stay safe, stay isolated, stay positive. There are good things coming about. Obviously, people are offering to help. Obviously, communities are coming together. Obviously, my great thanks and a massive thanks goes out to all you hard-pressed, underfunded NHS workers. Everyone who's doing something for others and asking for no reward other than just doing it. My thanks go out to all of you. This country will go on. We will survive this terrible pandemic. Other countries will as well. We will come through. It will be beaten. It will end. Be as positive as you can. Stay safe. Look after each other. Work together against adversity, work to promote good and to lessen the impact